Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Happy New Year, my lovelies. Welcome to the year. Welcome to 2024. And today's reading is called Mercury Direct in Sagittarius, Refresh and Redirect, or Reset, Refresh, and Redirect. And just a couple things before we start. And if you feel like skipping a couple of things, you can go directly to the description box below and find your pile. So I'll just go through the piles real quick. For pile number 1, we have the winking emoji face. For pile number 2, we have the naughty ghost for pile number 2. And for pile number 3, we have the heart eyes or the love eyes, okay? So that is what we have for the piles. And again, you can go directly to the description box below and choose your pile. And definitely feel free to watch more than one pile. But just a couple quick things before we start. As we walk into this new year, Mercury is going direct at 22 degrees Sagittarius. And it may not feel like much of a shift yet because we still have Mercury in a conjunction with Mars squaring Neptune. So people may still be feeling like tired or restless, and we will get through this, I promise, and we will feel better. For those of you that have been kind of struggling with the vibes, or if you've been still struggling to understand something, or you've been struggling to let go of something and you've been feeling very overwhelmed, I'm just looking at my notes right here, then that is definitely a part of this Mercury retrograde, this overwhelm or feeling tired but restless, struggling to understand something, feeling overwhelmed by something, feeling kind of picked on maybe by the universe and feeling kind of like you need to be in overdrive but you don't know what to do, or feeling like something isn't ready yet. You want to do something or you want to push something forward, but you're confused how to do it, or it's not ready yet. And so if you've been feeling those energies since about the middle of December or the first week of December until now, don't worry, like what you're feeling is normal. It has been a heck of a Mercury retrograde, and I know I've talked to some friends that are heavily mercurial and Mercury influenced, and they are feeling the burn. So the good news is that Mercury is going direct today, but of course we always want to be careful when planets are stationing retrograde or stationing direct. We want to be careful, and especially like when we're driving or operating vehicles or doing anything that requires our concentration, we want to be really awake and aware for that. And particularly Geminis, Virgos, Sagittarius, and Pisces, for any of you that have planets around this 22 degree mark in any of those 4 signs and any of the immutable signs, I'm sure you're really feeling it, and it feels like a lot right now. But I also just want to let people know that Jupiter went direct as well yesterday. And so for those of you that are feeling a lift in your energy or a lift in your spirit, it could be because of we have a really nice Jupiter direct sextiling Saturn. And there is that energy to tap into as well with Jupiter turning direct and sextiling Saturn. And so for those of you that are really wanting to go back and look at, did I accomplish my New Year's goals or my New Year's resolutions for 2023, and am I headed in the right direction? That may be something that you're looking at right now too, and Jupiter and Saturn playing nice together, especially in this first part of the year, is a great benefit to take and hold on to, is also what I would say. And really making sure like the practical areas of your life are feeling, you may not have the grand plan right now for everything, but making sure the practical elements of your life are running well on a day-to-day basis, okay? And I drew 2 cards before I started the reading as to like what Spirit wanted everyone to focus on, and the message has to do with confidence. And certainly like Mercury being in a conjunction with Mars in Sagittarius, you would think, well, that's a very confident combination. That's somebody who speaks their mind. That's somebody who isn't afraid to take action and has a grand vision for what they're trying to accomplish. But keep in mind that Mercury-Mars combination is square Neptune. So maybe some folks out there are feeling like they want to do something, but the confidence is still being built on something, okay? And we also have transformation here in serpentine, and it says serpentine looks and feels like the skin of a serpent. And keep in mind, Pluto is in the last degree of Capricorn and getting ready to switch over to Aquarius here in a couple of weeks. So serpentine looks and feels like the skin of a serpent. Snakes have the ability to shed their outgrown skin, and serpentine symbolically helps you to do the same. Determine what needs to be released in your life so that something new can come in. Serpentine helps you implement transformation, transition, and changes in your life. It is safe to let go. I know that nothing is ever taken away unless something better is coming. And confidence in that vision, which may feel shaky right now. It may feel kind of shaky as we're moving into this new year. Under this moon in Virgo, I hope everybody is taking care of themselves. Let's go ahead and get into the reading, okay? Let's go ahead and do it. And we will start with pile number 1. And we will look at refresh and reset in 2024 for my pile number 1. So let's go ahead and get into the reading. Put the confidence and transformation card right here for us as well. And let's go ahead for pile number 1. Pile number 1, you chose the winky face. Thank you so much for being here today. And today's reading is called Reset and Refresh in 2024. Mercury turns direct today. We just had Jupiter going direct in Taurus as well yesterday. So let's get into it and find out where this reset and refresh is happening in your life and what you need to know about that, okay? So let's go ahead and see for my pile number 1, please. Can you show me regarding a reset and a refresh for pile number 1? Reset and refresh. Okay. Let's do it, my lovelies. Ooh, the Empress. Nice. Okay. Let's take a look at your oracle cards and we will begin. Let's do it. There is a Venus. Venus is in the early degrees of Sagittarius right now, and Venus is squaring Saturn in Pisces. And so, you know, some people may be feeling the energy of feeling stuck or stopped when it comes to some of the Venusian things that you're preparing or working on, or if you're working on, you know, here's something I'm getting, pile number 1, is working on self-esteem, okay? Working on self-esteem. So we're going to talk about that in your pile and recognizing the greatness and the beauty of you. Let's take a look. We have hills, obstacles to overcome, okay? But they're hills. They're not insane mountains, they're hills. And I feel like you guys you got it, you can do it, okay? We have the month of October, and perhaps, of course, the month of October is mostly Libra, but partially Scorpio. And of course, Libra is ruled by Venus, and we have the Empress here. So perhaps some of my Libra October folks are showing up into this reading, or there's been some obstacles that you've been working on overcoming since the month of October, and maybe about how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your body, how you feel about your, like who you are as a woman, for those of my women who are watching this, or how you feel as a man, a woman, however you identify yourself, but how you feel about yourself on the inside and the outside counts. And you know what's really interesting is we had some pretty heavy duty eclipses going on in the month of October. And I'm thinking of a friend of mine right now who has moon in Libra, and she tried this new skin thing, this new kind of like ointment or skin thing, and it totally like messed with her skin, and like it messed with the collagen in her skin to the point where it like was like rapidly aging her. And she's been dealing with these issues, I think since October is what it's been. And it's been challenging. It's been tough for her. because she's not that old, you know, she's like in her mid 30s. And so it's challenging for her to deal with all this and the changing, right? And no matter how, of course, you know, she had something really tough happen to her there. But also too, just how we're changing, how faces and bodies and everything, right? We're all getting older, we're all changing, we're all, you know, and evolving. And sometimes it can be hard to make peace with those changes. And anyway, my friend just came to my mind, and perhaps maybe some of you have in the month of October experienced some tough challenges as well that have affected your self-esteem or your confidence, or have really affected things for you. So pile number one, we're going to get into it here, okay? We have dumbfounded, and so this may be some of the energy that you're dealing with. And again, you know, Mercury just went direct in Sagittarius, but it is square Neptune, and so it's like maybe not having solutions at this point, you know, and that's okay, right? That's all right. We're going to find them and we're going to get to them. But it says sometimes there are no words for the things that happen, and the best you can do is shake your head, have a giggle, and move straight past it. Okay. Why is this happening? I'm like, why do these setbacks occur? And you know, obviously when it comes to appearance, it's a lot harder to just kind of giggle and move straight past it if that's something. But I also feel it could be communications with people. It could be misunderstandings, communications, silly little embarrassing moments that have been going on that perhaps you guys are like, ugh, you know, and sometimes there's no words for these things that happen. And the best thing you can do is just say, you know what? It is what it is. I'm moving on, and that's it. Okay. So obstacles to overcome, but they are hills, and I do see the sun shining in the background. So I do feel things are going to get better. You may not understand everybody's actions and decisions in your life right now, pile number one. Hell, you may not even understand some of your own actions and decisions right now, but it's okay. One day at a time, my friends. We have masculine. Okay, the masculine. So somebody with masculine energy, like you don't know what's going on. You've been having issues with this person since October. There's been problems you don't know. You're not sure what their problem is or what their issue is. Maybe you're like, am I not their type or something? The thing is, pile number one, I feel you're very beautiful. You're the Empress. You came through as the Empress. So maybe you're just dumbfounded. Like me and this person had this thing going on, or we had a vibe going on, and then all of a sudden in October, it completely shifted. What the heck? Okay. We have here strategy. Okay. You need a step-by-step plan of attack to reach the next level. Get the advice of someone who is already where you want to go. Okay. And, you know, the Empress also does have to do with influence, or being able to influence someone, particularly in a social situation, and getting the advice of somebody who has been there, done that, and has gone through that. And, you know, needing a step-by-step plan of attack can be hard when Mercury is squaring Neptune and it's been retrograde and things like that. It can be extremely hard to come up with a step-by-step plan. And so I kind of feel like this is something that I also feel that people may underestimate your ability to strategize at times as well, pile number one. I think you actually, you know, Athena, who we associate with the energy of Libra, was very good at strategizing problems and strategizing solutions to problems. And there also is, you know, like a political aspect to things and a social aspect to what's going on for you right now, I feel. Okay, so needing a strategy to overcome obstacles, and perhaps that's something that you guys have been working on, is a strategy and a planning, which can be challenging to do. Like I said, when Mercury's, you know, retrograde and squaring Neptune, like it's gonna get better, I promise, guys. Okay, we have harmony. Yeah, harmony, Venus energy. It's important for you to have a quiet, peaceful work atmosphere in order for you to thrive. Working at home or for yourself is best, okay? And maybe there's been some crap going on at work, or there's been some things that people have, ways that people have been acting or people doing things, and they've been loud and they've been disruptive. I mean, Mercury conjunction Mars and Sagittarius square Neptune could be like out of control neighbors and people who are being very loud or partying a lot or drinking a lot or doing stuff like that. And you guys could also, you know, if you're having issues with neighbors, if you're having issues with your, maybe at the office with the people that sit around you or sit next to you or the customers, or you're just having issues with that stuff, pile number one, know that you are a seeker of harmony and balance. And I know you guys don't really appreciate rude people, and you don't want to be rude either, but you may need to say something. You know, you may need to actually say something. And I feel like for some of you, someone's actions or behavior has been bothering you since October and have been like irritating you since October. And so maybe we're working on that right now. Oh, that's so interesting. We have this snake and we have transformation. And, you know, I drew a card from another deck before I started this reading to symbolize what the energy is about right now. And I drew serpentine and transformation. And now you guys are getting the snake in your reading right now. It says, you will be shedding an old skin. You know, that's so funny. I was just thinking about my friend and the problem with her skin and, you know, like the collagen and things like that. And it's just interesting. I don't know why she keeps popping up in this reading. Maybe she'll see this reading. But, you know, talk about the skin or having issues with skin, exfoliating, over exfoliating, skin that is being shed, revealing a new layer underneath. Like, yeah, the Empress is very much with that. And for those of you that work in the beauty industry in any way, perhaps you are like, since October, there's been shit going down and you need to find a better sense of harmony and balance for your life, okay? We have transformation. You will be shedding old skin and emotions and transforming them into something bigger and better. Yay, I love that. Change is in the wind, and you are at the center of it all as the catalyst. And maybe some people are going to be a little bit dumbfounded when you take action, or when you are like, I'm done with this place, or I'm done with this situation. Like, maybe people are going to be like, whoa, like, we didn't see that coming. Like, they're dumbfounded, but you're like, haha, I've been strategizing and planning this all along. Good for you, pile number one. Good for you. And I always think that, like, in every war or in every conflict, if there was, like, you know, Athena or like a woman who could help, like, bring things together and understand the strategy, I feel like a lot of these conflicts would go better. And it kind of is that Athena energy, and, you know, that sense of being underestimated as a woman, or maybe some of you have dealt with that. And I know not just women watch this channel or people that identify as being a woman, but, like, you know, that sense of being underestimated for who you are and then coming out aces is what I kind of feel for you guys, okay? And you are bigger and badder and better than anybody knows, pile number one, and you are at the center of it all as the catalyst to smoothen the process. Make sure that your intentions are clear and that you move forward with hope. Yeah, and, you know, Jupiter just went direct. So moving forward with hope, Jupiter and Taurus, you know, sextiling Saturn, moving forward with some goals and some hope for what's to come. And there are changes coming, pile number one. Yes, you are aware of that, and you are at the center of them, but it's for your benefit. It works out to your benefit. We have here, oh my gosh, wouldn't you know it, we have Mercury and Mars. Of course, I've just been talking about Mercury and going direct in Sagittarius in a conjunction with Mars, and here we have Mercury-Mars. And so this Mercury-Mars conjunction that's been going on for a little bit now, it's been messing with you a little bit, I feel, pile number one, and it kind of came out reversed. And so, you know, having things on the tip of your tongue that you want to say, or wanting to move forward with a particular plan, perhaps a business plan or a conversation that needs to happen. I'm getting something about the word null and void. And it could be a sales transaction or something that happened, but I'm getting the information null and void. okay? And Mercury Mars can actually be really amazing for strategy. Now, and developing a step-by-step plan of attack, that is Mercury Mars, but perhaps you haven't felt like you can do that. I feel like after this Mercury square, Mercury moves past the square to Neptune, which is going to be like middle of January. You're going to be like, get your plan attack, get your actions ready. And yeah, and people are going to be a little bit dumbfounded when you start calling the shots and you start taking these actions. And perhaps it's been this energy of like, well, how do I fix this problem? And perhaps you are talking to someone who's already made the move of where you want to go, and talking to that person is giving you ideas about what you could potentially do. And actually, I love a Mercury Mars conjunction for strategy and a step-by-step plan of attack. Yeah, I love an intelligent strategy. Good for you, pile number one. Ooh, we've got karma. We've got karma. Okay, and some of these interesting obstacles that you've been facing and some of these people that have been disrupting your environment, it's time for them to face their karma. Okay, it's time for them to, like, here's you putting into a plan of action that, you know, is going to cause other people to have to deal with some karma because of the domino effect. And I do feel like there could be a masculine energy at the center of this. And it says karma, past life karma hinders your growth in this lifetime. Okay. And you know, this is about somebody else. It's not about you, pile number one. Like the Empress is grow, baby, grow. So the Empress is let's go, let's grow. And the Empress is abundant and constantly growing in every situation. In any situation, you can put her anywhere and she finds a way to thrive and she finds a way to grow. And, you know, maybe that pisses some people off who don't have the same good karma that you do when it has to come with growing, you know. And some people have some karma to face about their willingness to put in the effort in order to grow, okay? And their willingness to make changes in order to grow as well. And because of that, certain people may feel limitations in life. And, you know, we all have points in life where we feel limited or we feel like our opportunities are limited. But Jupiter is sextiling Saturn right now in the sky, and it's a good time right now to capitalize on good karma and to take on expansion that makes sense, not expansion that is overwhelming and out of control. But, you know, there are people that try to grow too fast sometimes. And I am thinking about another friend of mine who works for a company that has grown way too fast and been totally out of control with their growth, and because of that has had to downsize their workforce like right before the holidays, which, you know, all these kind of things, pile number one, you can learn from. Okay, people that grow too fast, that throw caution to the wind and just trying to capitalize on the upswing without thinking about responsible growth, which is really Jupiter sextile Saturn, which we have going on right now, putting an emphasis on responsible growth and responsible achievement. And then people who refuse to change and never like want to work on themselves or never want to grow, like striking the balance between these two extremes is very important. And for you guys to be able to strike that balance, pile number one, it's very important for you to be in the right environment and have some harmony in your environment. And, you know, Mercury Mars can also talk about arguments with people that are very hot-headed, okay? And perhaps there is a masculine here that some of you have been fighting with, or you've been having arguments with this person, or, you know, someone's being a hothead, basically. Somebody's being real hot-headed. And again, it's a balance, right? With the Empress of not saying anything or just going off and saying whatever and being a total hothead. And I also feel with Mercury Mars, there could be a tendency to headaches And perhaps some of you have been going through headaches, or somebody in your life has been going through headaches, like, physical headaches. So I do see that too. Or just feeling like loud noises are very much like creating headaches and creating problems. And we have here, ooh, look at this. We see this Ouroboros, but it's all knotted up and it's all kind of stressful and tied up in knots. And it says on this card, it says the turning point. Okay, and this snake has no knots. It's not knotted up at all, but this snake is completely knotted up. And you are at a turning point right now, pile number 1. And it's like, what do I do? How do I do this? How do I go about this? What's my strategy? What do I need to employ? What do I need moving forward? Okay. And on this card, it says return, the start of a new cycle. Right timing, the right timing. Because I feel like you guys tried to do something before, but it didn't work and the timing wasn't right. Okay. And perhaps there wasn't a right timing with a certain masculine person, where the timing was all off. And for those of you where this has to do with work as well, perhaps the timing was way off. Like, Mercury, Mars conjunction in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is what I was going to call it. Scattered Sagittarius, right? The timing is off and the plans are all discombobulated. And you guys are ready to kind of get yourself out of this tangled web of like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I blah, 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 blah. It's kind of a lot, right? And it says the start of a new cycle, right timing, regeneration, inevitability, right? Inevitability and steady improvements. Yeah, I kept saying things are going to get better. Yeah, they've been a hot mess. Mercury, Mars, they've been a complete hot mess. And the additional noise and the additional, pressure to do something now hasn't been helping things. But sometimes you have to let other people learn from their mistakes. And sometimes we have to learn from our own mistakes too. Like if we just go ahead and do things without thinking. And maybe there's been times in the past where you guys have done that, where you've just gone ahead and done things without thinking, and you've had to learn the hard way, or you've had to really, understand where those where maybe we need a little bit more thinking, or we need a little bit more logic, or we need to really understand a situation fully before we start mucking around in it, and perhaps somebody's unwilling to change or unwilling to fix something that they did that was wrong, pile number 1, but then your response to it has been like being tangled up in 1,000 knots about it. And I kind of feel like you guys are saying, fuck it, with this snake and transformation. I kind of feel like you're saying, you know what, fuck it, like, boom, like I'm not going to sit here and try to contort myself into 1,000 different varieties of whatever, like just fuck it, I'm moving on from this experience, So I like that. Sometimes in life, we just have to cut our losses and go. We have 5 of Wands. Yes, fighting issues. We have the Hermit. You know what? And sometimes pile number 1, it's like, I don't want any drama, right? And I feel that's where you guys are at. If people are bickering on the internet, or people are starting shit online, or at your office, or in your family, or people just want to be angry sometimes. They just want something to be irritated about. And I feel like you guys are saying, you know what, fuck that. I don't need that. Like, I'm not, there is a quality to you that is like withdrawing, I feel, in a way, pile number 1, where it's like, I'm withdrawing from this mess. Like, I don't want to get involved in this. And you know what? Like, and I feel like when you withdraw from something, everybody's dumbfounded. Like when you're like, I don't actually want any part of that. And I do think natural remedies are important right now for those of you like doing things simply, simple things, okay? Simple, elegant solutions to problems, natural remedies with the Hermit. Like these are things you want to focus on. Arguing about shit, why something happened, why someone did it, trying to get someone to take responsibility when you know damn well they're not going to do that. Like, it's like, You know, I feel like some of you are like, yeah, I want to leave a bad review for something, but maybe you're just like, fuck it. At the end of the day, like or maybe you do leave a bad review and then you close your computer and you're like, I'm done. Okay. And whatever you decide to do, I feel like good for you, pile number one, if that's what you're going to do, leave a detailed review. But at the same time, like, be done with it. Like, when you're done, be done. And I do feel like, you know, sometimes we have to step up and fight in a situation, and other times the best thing to do is to sit for a while, like stop reaching for, you know, quick, easy changes to things. Stop trying to fix everything. Just chill for a little bit. Just chill in the simplicity of not making any huge leaps and bounds for right now, and let the other people who feel like and for some of you, perhaps it's younger people, immature people, younger people, like, let them duke it out then. Why do you need to be, right? And I am seeing like a group of younger people, and you're older, you know, they want to fight things out, or they want to contest things, or they want to whatever. And for those of you that are teachers, I feel this energy too. If you have really young, immature people in the class and you're just sick of it or you're tired of it, okay, like, it's a withdraw. It's a definite withdraw from the drama is what I'm feeling here. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. Ace of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. There's new things for you guys to learn, okay? Once you like just say, you know what, it is what it was. I'm done looking for solutions right now. All it's doing is aging me. All it is doing is distracting me, pissing me off, pumping me up. And frankly, I don't even feel like putting my shoes on today and going outside of the house, right? Like, I don't feel like getting involved in this thing. And talk about, you know, harmony, quiet, solitude. And it says here, it's important for you to have a quiet, peaceful work atmosphere in order to thrive. Working at home or for yourself is the best. And, you know, that's the Hermit. And there she is with her computer working at home, you know, and she's relaxed. She's barefoot. She's enjoying the moment. She's not stressed about shit. She's just taking it easy. Like, leave the drama, you know, save the drama for your mama type of thing over here. Pile number one, okay? Like, it's like, I don't need to get involved in this immaturity and this fighting and these issues. Like, these people don't know what they're doing, and I can't help them at this point, you know? So I feel like that's kind of where you're headed, pile number one, and I think it's a good thing. Sometimes it's okay to just give up on something and be like, you know what, it is what it is. And I feel like this whole dumbfounded energy is like, do these people like this? Do they enjoy this? Like, why are they doing this? You know? And it's like, just leave it alone. And, you know, it doesn't matter how old you are. Sometimes you can see people when you're 25 years old acting really immature, and it's like, I don't want to be a part of that, no matter how old you are, right? So good for you on that. And also, I feel there's new things for you to learn and new information to anchor yourself in. And there is, like, you know, I like the Ace of Swords for a strategy, a step-by-step plan of attack to reach the next level. And I love the Page of Pentacles for like detailed planning and detailed like reviewing of things and taking your time too. No pressure, right? The best ideas and the best solutions come when you're not under like extreme pressure trying to fix something, okay? The best ideas come when you're calm and at peace and you're just, you know, rethinking things is what I feel here. And the leaves on the ground here remind me of the leaves on this October card. And I actually, you know what? I actually feel that you had a really good idea back in October, or that you had like something that popped up, but you got distracted with drama or whatever. And I kind of feel like maybe going back to the drawing board and, it's like, if I could have a do-over if I could take the month of October and have a do-over, what would I do? Or what would I do differently? And maybe it has to do with saving money. Maybe it has to do with making decisions from a calm place. Maybe it has to do with not feeling rushed. Maybe it has to do with taking your time. And these are all lessons, right? These are important lessons as we're learning, as we're maturing. And yeah, we can't always go back in time and make different choices, but perhaps there was like an idea or a learning there for you that got pushed aside because some drama started happening. And it's like, okay, I just need to go back to square one and take a look at this again and do this from a calm perspective, okay? And perhaps there's some thoughts here about money management or, upskilling, or an idea of upskilling, or an idea of money management, or using your resources wisely, strategizing how you want to, because your money is your energy, right? Like if you make money, that represents your energy. That money represents your energy. So it's like, where do I want to put this energy? I need to invest it carefully, and I need to do it from a point of very clear-headedness and not feeling like I'm backed up against a wall, okay? And, this really isn't like a splurging type of a vibe either. I mean, the Empress is more splurging, but I kind of feel like going forward, you guys aren't really splurging on things. You're more being a lot more reasonable and rational and really deciding like, where do I want to put this? And this is something that I've been thinking about a lot too, pile number one, and maybe a lot of us could stand to be a lot more conservative. Like, how much effort did it take me to earn that dollar? And where do I want to spend it given my energy, So I also think that is something coming through for you guys. So pile number one, I really like your energy. I like your confidence. I like your willingness to like back away from something and be like, I don't want to be a part of that chaos. And I love the clear-headed thinking and strategy. And that is the energy where you guys can refresh and reset, okay? And instead of reacting, you can refresh and reset, okay? So pile number one, thank you. I really enjoyed your reading. It was like talking to an old friend. And say hello in the comments if you felt that reading resonated for you. And thank you so much, my lovelies. And I look forward to working with you all in the new year. Take care. Let's move on to pile number two. Okay. Let's do it. Okay. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You picked the Naughty Ghost, and I love that for you guys. Let's go ahead and start your reading. And today's reading is called Redirect, Reset, and Refresh in 2024. I talked about in the beginning about the Mercury retrograde that's just finishing up today, stationing direct, and the fact that Jupiter also went direct and is sextiling Saturn. So let's go ahead and get into it for my pile number twos. Spirit, what do you have to share with my pile number twos today regarding a reset and refresh for 2024? What is it that you have to share with my pile number twos regarding a reset and refresh? What is it that you have for my pile number twos regarding a reset and refresh? Okay, let's do it. We've got the Four of Swords and recuperation. So recouping from something, recouping losses, recuperation from a very busy time, very hectic time, needing a break, needing a chill pill. Let's go ahead and take our chill pill as we move into 2024, pile number two. Let's go ahead and see rest and rejuvenation and relaxation. Let's begin. We have rainbow. The most difficult part of a situation is over. Good, 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 good. Okay, recuperating, resting that mind. We have November. Okay, so perhaps there was something very difficult that was going on in the month of November, pile number two, and tough situation, tough energies, and it could have been very mentally draining or mentally taxing, all right? And the most difficult part of a situation is over. So perhaps there was some nastiness going on in the month of November, and now it's time to take a step back. It's time to chill out, okay? And we have here frustration. Okay. Restart from the very beginning and scrap anything already tried. The answer to moving beyond this irritation will only be found in exploring new ideas. Okay, now that is interesting too, because we have a Mercury-Mars conjunction in Sagittarius right now, as Mercury is turning, is going direct, and it's also square Neptune. The idea of like starting over from the beginning or scrapping anything you've already tried could be very irritating to you right now, pile number 2, but it also says that the answer to moving beyond this irritation will only be found in exploring new ideas. And, you know, the most difficult part of the situation is over, but perhaps there's still some lingering frustration. But you know, I love Mars, Mercury, and Sagittarius for the concept of exploring new ideas, okay? And restarting from the beginning, yeah, it feels like a lot, but let's see what we've got going on here. We've got Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, and then we have the Ace of Fire or the Ace of Wands. So yeah, I've been talking a lot about Sagittarius, and how do you guys prefer to start things, or how do you prefer to do things? Do you like to go in guns blazing? Do you like to dive in head first? Do you like to like light yourself on fire like Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games, like, you know, and roll through the arena while you're flaming? Is that what you like, pile number 2? Is that what you prefer? What do you like, my friends? And we have November here, so perhaps some of you are Sagittariuses, or Sagittarius starts near the end of November, but like, you know, how do you typically go into things? Do you dive in head first and think about the consequences later? Or how do you feel about starting new things? How do you feel? Are you frustrated about starting over, or are you excited about starting over? Is something that I would say. And I do feel there's a reason to be excited about starting something over, or starting with a clean slate. And perhaps you didn't like that very much in the month of November, or that was really pissing you off in the month of November. But I also feel like there's an opportunity to start something over, and it feels exciting, and it feels fun, and it feels gregarious and open and outgoing. So how are we going to do this? Are we going to jump right in, or are we going to, what are we doing? Pile number 2, what are we doing, my loves? Let's see. We have here flexibility, okay? And you'll need to see in the dark to maneuver the coming changes. While it seems extreme, just hang in there. This too shall pass, okay? And this was what you guys were going through, I feel. And oh, the face is so sad. It looks like really, really sad eyes. Really, really sad face. Very emotional. There's a big full moon in the background. And it says you'll need to see in the dark to maneuver the coming changes. While it seems extreme, just hang in there. This too shall pass. And I feel some of you have already been on that change train since the month of November anyway. And perhaps that was a very difficult, frustrating time for you. And it is time for the magic, okay? You have the power now. Use your magic to attract what you want into your life. The sky is the limit. I like it. And, you know, when we're trying to, oh boy, there's a lot of like excitement, pile number 2, but there's also a lot of burden, I feel, as well. Or there's also a lot of, I feel you guys are willing to be flexible. I feel you are willing to like redo something or change something, but it's also like with a heavy heart is what I feel as well. Because I feel like normally you guys do like live in the moment, or normally you are like, let's embrace life and see what happens. But, you know, I think there's been some irritation too, okay? And I feel like the thing you guys really need is you need like faith and hope and magic, like returning into your life. And I feel like you've been a good sport, or as much of a good sport as you can be towards these changes that have been happening in your life. But let's see what else we have here. We have dragon and passion. Wow. Pile number 2. Wow, 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 wow. Something that started off extremely passionate, but then became extremely frustrating. And something where, like, you know, maybe the magic came back in November for a while, and so you were headfirst into something, so you dropped into it again. But it's like I feel like what's happening is you guys keep thinking the difficult part of a situation is over, but then there's changes and you have to be more flexible, and you think, okay, the worst part of this is over, but then it keeps coming back, and it keeps like, you see moments of magic, but then you also see moments of like shittiness. And it's frustrating because one moment you're high on life and filled with passion about something, and the next minute you're frustrated. And what I'm getting is a lot of mood swings or a lot of up and downs depending on outside circumstances and outside factors. And it feels a little out of control, pile number 2. And maybe that's something that you guys have been working on, is not allowing like outside circumstances, like always depending on outside circumstances to give you a boost or an uplift in your energy, versus trying to create the feeling from within, that trying to create the emotions and the feelings and the stability from within. And I kind of feel like your world's been a little rocked. It's been rocky and it's been up and down, and you've been responding to those changes. And some of them have been very frustrating and sad or upsetting, yet they started off very exciting. So it's like a roller coaster. And we have to, like, when we feel we're being dragged along by a roller coaster, either because of a relationship, situations in our life and things like that, we have to learn how to find inner stability within all of that fluctuation. And I know it's challenging and I know it's hard, but I feel you guys are very passionate, and that may be part of your problem in a way too, pile number 2, is that you're extremely passionate. So, you know, frustrations, derailments, while you are flexible, it may be very frustrating because you are so passionate, but we have to learn to cultivate. And here's where, like, I actually believe that the Stoics, like the Stoic thinkers, philosophy-wise, pile number 2, just go with me here for a minute, actually had something right, in the sense that, you know, the building could be burning down next to us, or the building could be having the biggest celebration in life ever and like having the most up experience ever, or it could be burning down next to us. But within, you know, there's something that we say about life where we don't want to get too excited about the good to the point where we're just off a cliff, like losing our minds. We want to be really careful about getting too excited about the good and getting so, you know, torn down into the depths of hell over the bad. And this is where, like, Stoicism, I think, really does make sense. Like, you know, if you live long enough, you see life has many ups and downs, many ups and downs along the way. And, you know, so there's ups and there's downs. So we want to be careful of dramatic mood swings with that. And I know sometimes it can't be helped, but to keep ourselves, and I think that's something that the mutable signs genuinely do seem to struggle with, is but yes, they are very flexible and adaptable. But when I talk about the mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, like, there is these incredible swings sometimes. And now maybe you have Taurus rising, or, you know, you've got some other fixed sign energy in your chart that keeps you from going too much off the cliff. But what I'm saying is that when it's all mutable energy and it's just going hog wild, there's a tendency to, you know, to lose it in the middle of it, and to like go so intensely into the push and pull of life that it just kind of breaks us down. And I think that's something that we want to work on, pile number 2, as we're moving into 2024. And the Four of Swords is a recuperation card, and it is about stabilizing. And granted, you know, the world is nuts and things are always changing, and you need to have a certain level of fortitude in order to take it all in one swig, if you know what I mean, pile number 2. But there is a point of like, okay, I need to rest my mind. I need to go into a space of mental nothingness where I'm not being pushed and pulled in 35 different directions. It's too much, okay? And we have passion here, okay? The dragon is a reminder of your strong will and fiery personality, pile number 2. It is also a symbol of passion and fire. You are being asked to practice self-control. Yeah. Practicing self-control. And be cautious so that your passion does not lead you into trouble. And that can be hard, you know, that can be really hard. And, you know, wanting to believe that the best is, or the worst is behind us, and really wanting to embrace the magic. And I love the mutable signs for that. But I also think there's like, we gotta wrap it up a little bit here. We gotta exercise self-control. We need to find our way to Saturn a little bit here. We need to find a little bit of discipline and a little bit of a base for regulation, okay, and acceptance. And so I think that is something going on, that like Spirit is saying, we love your passion, we love your energy, we love your enthusiasm when you go into things, but you may also feel like sometimes maybe pile number 2, like you're being attacked by life, or life is purposely putting like really frustrating limitations in the way for you, okay? And perhaps some of you are having Saturn, because Saturn is in the first degrees of Pisces right now, also hitting those mutable signs. So I get it if you're feeling like limited as well. So I get it, and I do have compassion for it, pile number 2, but I also feel, you know, self-control is a good thing. We have Sun Chiron, and, you know, sometimes going head first into, I feel you guys are very brave, pile number 2. I want you to know you're very brave, and even sometimes you know that something has the potential to hurt you, or something that has the potential to scar you. Like, you still go into things like balls to the wall. And I like that about you. I like that about you. And some of you may have heavy fire in your chart. I absolutely love a person that just attacks it and goes into it, and, you know, bitch, I'll deal with it later type of energy, okay? I love it, and I think it's fascinating. I'm a Taurus, so I don't always go that route, but I actually love it. And I think, you know, you gotta be willing to take, you know, sometimes we gotta be willing to take the knocks in life. There's a really good song by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, by Karen O of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and it always really resonated with me. And it's like, if you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. If you get knocked down, you gotta get back up. And, you know, we've all had situations in our lives where we're like, you know, I didn't really think that through. I just went for it. I didn't really care what happened. Like, and, you know, maybe it wasn't the best decision. But if you're gonna, and I've had things in my own life like that too. Like, if you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. If you get knocked down, you gotta get back up. And yeah, and we do learn that about life. And yeah, and how you feel about yourself, and who you like. You're fiery with the sun. You're a fiery individual, and you're a passionate individual. But I think there's also been times that you've been hurt from rushing things and things like that. Okay, pile number 2. So perhaps maybe this year is something where there's a little bit, we don't want to lose the magic, right? We have to be careful, because I don't want you guys to lose your magical spirit of believing in the best. You know, I really don't, pile number 2. I want you to stay in that magic, but at the same time, I think there is a caution with the Sun Chiron. And the Sun Chiron can also sometimes be like embarrassing experiences or things that we're ashamed of, or like I want to rise to power and glory in my life, but I'm always like falling and tripping myself. And there is something very adorable about that as well, pile number 2. So I just want you guys to know that you got the adorable thing going on right now as well. But I do think like, taking care of your health and vitality is really important. Taking care of your physicality, taking care of yourself, like recognizing the dangers before you go head first into something or try to be anybody's hero, like recognizing the toll that may take on you. And maybe sometimes I feel like you guys are like, you know what, I got it. Like, you need me, I'll show up for you. I'm there regardless, like, boom, I got you. But at times it may be to your detriment, or at times it may have really, it may have really messed with you. And I don't want you guys to lose your confidence. That's something that I drew at the beginning of this reading, was confidence. And I don't want you guys to lose your confidence, but there may also be times when you rushed into things very confident about them, but it ended up hurting yourself. And so I think finding the balance and releasing from some of these things is something that, it's easy to get swept up, right? It's easy to get swept up in the moment, feeling the passion and the desire and, wanting change. But I also think, it does, like it says on this card, it does behoove you to practice self-control and be cautious so that your passion does not lead you into trouble. And I do feel like that's something you guys are becoming aware of, or it's something that you're working on and you're working on understanding about yourself. And I think that's very good. We have Falcon, higher perspective, rising above the situation. Yes, taking the higher perspective, rising above the situation. I love the Falcon because the Falcon is like very luxurious, and it's like a very like wealthy type of an energy. And it's also a very much like a stop and think and survey the land before we survey the environment and survey the land, before I immediately drop down into this energy. And the Sun Chiron can also be like, sometimes our ego gets burned, or we feel bad because we hurt ourselves in the process. And I get it, but I also think that there are higher perspectives, there's solutions, rising above a situation instead of getting like pulled down into it and distracted or befuddled by it. Like, really taking the higher perspective. And maybe there's a reason you're being stopped for a good reason. Do you know what I think? Pile number 2, like sometimes in life we're like, gimme. I want this person, or I want this thing, or give me this particular thing. And you're experiencing frustration in that. But like this card says, frustration here, but you're being stopped from hurting yourself. You know what I mean? Like sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes like life is stopping us because it's like, okay, you need to take it down a notch with this situation, because at the end of the day, like looking at the big picture part of this isn't good for you, or this isn't where you want to be in the future. And getting that higher perspective is really important. And I love your flexibility. I love your willingness to go with things, pile number 2, but sometimes maybe needing to take a higher shift in your perspective. Like, hey, I'm being held back from this for a particular reason. And maybe I need to stop and think about like what that reason is, or why that might be. Okay. Which I like that for you guys. And I apologize if I sound like a crabby old aunt, like scolding you guys right now. I really do. I sound like I'm 100 years old, or like I'm scolding you guys, but I'm also saying, like, don't lose your passion, don't lose your magic, don't lose your willingness to like dive headfirst into things and be brave and be passionate about your life. But also understand, if you are being stopped for a moment, it may be for like a good parent stops their child, right? Like, you're not just going to let your child just go wander into a playground with a bunch of tigers. Like, you're going to grab your child's hand and you're going to say, let's take a couple steps away from the tiger playground. Like, the tigers are playing and they're having fun, but you're not a tiger, so we need to take your little hand and walk you over here and let's go have an ice cream cone. Oh, you gotta love it in life sometimes, right? You gotta love it. And here you see the person on this card here called Before Completion. And this can feel sometimes when we're like skating on thin ice in life, or we're almost to the end of something, but it feels very precarious. And it says uncertainty, doubt and hesitation, loss of faith, unstable conditions, be extra cautious, and discord. And, sometimes like, there's a book I think called The Fear Gene, or I forget what it's called, but it basically is telling you that your fear is there for a reason. Now, we all know that there are people in the world who are like way too cautious and don't push themselves out of their comfort zone enough. And, fixed signs, I'm looking at you, right? But like, I think like I said, I feel you guys are very brave, and I love your willingness to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and be in the moment and be with the flexibility and be with the passion. But I also feel like perhaps ever since the month of November, there's been uncertainties, or you've been unsure about something, or you've had doubts about a situation, or sorry you guys, my dog is scratching at the door. I gotta let her in real quick. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Bless me, for I have sinned. Anyway, I had to step away for just a second. But anyway, so, if you are like, shit, this is a little, like in November, you were like, fuck, this is getting a little out of control. I don't know. This is uncertain. It's feeling a little precarious here. Okay. Sometimes our instincts are good. It's like, stop and think and be extra cautious before you make this decision or you take this action. And sometimes our instincts are telling us, like, slow down before you hurt yourself, or, things aren't like, these conditions are changing rapidly. Like, be cautious with what you're doing. Now, we want to balance that line between completely losing faith in everything, right? Because we're talking about extremes, like the difference between completely losing faith in everything versus just being a little extra cautious with yourself, your time, your energy. I kind of feel like I'm speaking to a relationship for some of you here that has been, on the brinks or on the fringes or things like that. Or it could be a work situation, whatever it is. Pile number 2, like if you feel your instincts are telling you to slow down and be more cautious, and it may help you avoid some of those harder lessons or some of those more deeper frustrations that come when we really try to push something. That is, if we're trying to push something. I love your enthusiasm. It's like a salesman. I'm trying to push something, like saleswoman, salesman. I'm trying to push this agenda, but I feel like it's on really shaky ground. Take a moment and back up off of the crackling ice. You know what I mean? Like, take it back a notch. And it's so interesting because I saw a news report about global warming where like in Minnesota, the lakes are always like totally frozen, and you can like drive trucks on lakes. And I've driven in a truck across a lake before in myself in Minnesota. So I know how it is. But like, this season, the water is not freezing. Like it's been warmer. And so there's not as much ice, or the ice isn't as thick. And like I heard a story about how some people went out on the ice anyway, but then the ice started to break apart, and then they're just like drifting on a freezing cold lake. These little different people drifting on a frozen cold lake. Like, how do we get back to the shore? So we want to avoid that. Like, be cautious. If the weather report's telling you like this isn't exactly like, take it down a notch then, okay? And so that will benefit you guys. And sometimes we have to walk the tightrope of, you know, magic versus caution. We have to do that. And I think with Jupiter sextile Saturn at the beginning of this year, we're all being told, like, be cautious and be responsible with what you're doing. And if you do that, everything's going to go okay. Okay, and we have judgment and action here. Let's get some tarot messages out. We have Six of Swords and movement. This is what you guys are looking for, a change and movement in something that has been very frustrating. And we have the Tower, transformation, okay? And it's funny because I asked for, at the beginning of this reading, I asked Spirit to tell me what everyone needs to remember, like, as they are starting out this year. And I drew this card for everyone called Transformation. And now you guys are getting it in your piles. So that is interesting. Okay. And, you know, something that you start ends up being different than what you thought it was going to be. Okay. And something that you do ends up turning out different than you thought. And adjusting to those changes and adjusting to the new environment is a lot, okay? We have the Nine of Pentacles and comfort. Yes, that is what I want to see right now. And you know what's so funny? The falcon is actually the bird that sits on the hand of the figure in the Nine of Pentacles. And I was going to mention that actually. And talk about the Nine of Pentacles earlier, but it came up in my head and I kind of dismissed it. But anyway, the falcon is the bird that rests on the hand of the woman in the Nine of Pentacles. And, you know, getting a higher perspective on this situation and rising above the situation, right? And it's so funny because I was talking about the burning building, whether it's a celebration or it's burning. And it's so funny because this Tower card shows like celebration on it, but it also shows like destruction too. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot. It's a lot. And the Tower is a huge reset. It's a huge reset. And maybe something that you did or that you were spearheading or pushing forward, it doesn't go the way that you want to go. And there's frustrations about it and there's irritation about it. And sometimes, like, we're trying to control our outer environment, but what we need to control is our inner world. Is what we need is self-control, not trying to control everything around us, because things are going to do what they're going to do. And there is a change that you guys put into motion, that you set forward, okay? And at the time you were fine with letting something, you know, with the change that you were made or that you were considering, like you felt deeply attached to the things that you were changing and moving forward on. And the decision comes from a very deep place, or the actions that you were taking were coming from a very deep place of, I can't do this anymore, or this needs to go, or something, okay? And it's like, I have to mentally let something go. And I've got to take this action and let something go. But I kind of feel like the action that you took set off a chain reaction, and it ended up being totally different than what you thought it was going to be. Okay. And going through deep changes and transformation with the Judgment card and trying to move forward and accept those changes, but then something goes completely, like, you know, different than what you thought it was going to. It happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us, but sometimes it feels like it's happening over and over and over and over again. And maybe that is something that you guys have dealt with a lot in your life, a lot of fluctuation, a lot of changes. Like, you put something in place, you think it's going one way, it goes the other way. And you're like, yeah, it's the story of my life, or you've been going through a very intense phase. And the thing is that you do need rest and recuperation from it. With this Four of Swords, you do need space and distance and time. You do need a reset, and you guys get a reset, but it may not be the reset that you want, or it may not be the thing that you wanted, right? And so it comes in a different form, or the outside world is doing things that you were trying to control the change or move it in the direction you wanted to, but something completely different happened. So I get it, pile number 2, that's irritating, it's frustrating, and we have this frustration card. Restart from the very beginning and scrap anything already tried, the Tower. Yeah, that can be extremely hard. When the universe is asking you to do that, it's like, I get it. Restart from the very beginning and scrap anything you've already tried. The answer to moving beyond this irritation will only be found in exploring new ideas. So letting go of the way you thought it was going to look, or letting go of the way that you thought it was going to play out. And instead, with the 9 of Pentacles, it talks about creating a sense of order, self-control, order, discipline, comfort in your everyday environment, regardless of whatever this was over here. Okay. And perhaps some of you, it was a change in job that didn't go the way you wanted. Perhaps for some of you, it was a relationship that you initiated and you were trying to move forward that didn't go the way that you planned. Okay. But this reset and refresh it's very sobering, I feel, pile number 2, but it's also very much about you feeling comfortable where you're at. And maybe some of you need to move. I'm also getting a moving energy, or somebody needing to move or leave or try something else and go someplace where you're a little more comfortable. And putting your comfort at the top of the list, your right to recuperate and find some comfort, and find some order in your day-to-day environment, instead of being things feel good and things feel exciting when they're moving along in the direction that you want, but things happen, things change. The world is our oyster, but the world isn't an oyster that we always control, and that's the thing. The Tower is a powerful lesson that we sometimes get in life. We can't always get what we want, but we get what we need. 9 of Pentacles, right? The Tower and the 9 of Pentacles. What is that old song? I think Rolling Stones or Mick Jagger or whoever sang that song. You can't always get what you want, but you get what you need, okay? And I think you guys are going to be just fine with the 9 of Pentacles. You're like a cat with 9 lives. You land on your feet and you find your way back to yourself, and you find your way back to home and back to comfort. But what you need right now is you need some stability, you need some order, you need some self-control, you need some parameters around, like I talked about. You need to kind of be your own nice, loving parent and say, no, you can't walk into the cage with the 10,000 tigers in it right now. You need to go and clean out your closet, or clean out your car, or go to those doctor appointments, or, get yourself a nice new piece of furniture that you can use for years and years, clean house, whatever you need more comfort and support. I feel like what you guys need is also support. It can't feel like you're doing everything yourself, because that's what got you into trouble in the first place. It can't feel that you're literally holding the world up on your own shoulders. You do need support from others as well, and you do need order in your environment is what you need right now. And that's going to help you, I feel like, lead to this reset and refresh where you're gonna not be in so much drama, and maybe it won't feel as exciting, but the days start to make sense again. And the frustration that you were feeling maybe back in November starts to go away. And you find your way back to a new normal, and you start to find the magic in your life. Sometimes things are just high drama, and that can feel exciting, but it's interesting when I was talking to my boyfriend about this, and I was saying, for some people, filing their taxes for the last 6 years that they haven't done is the spiritual experience that they need. You know what I mean? And it's what's really going to make them feel good about themselves and make them feel comfortable in their environment. And, the 9 of Pentacles is really a get down to business type of card. And let's put things in order and let's make things more solid, okay? And let's get back to business. Let's get back to Like, let's get back to routine. Let's get back to a sense of dignity about our lives and what we're doing. And let's find the support that we need in life, right? Because all of this is too much. And living like that for so long will fry your nerves and will fry your energy for sure. Okay. So pile number 2, that is what I am getting for you, my loves. And I hope that that reading resonated for you. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback on the reading. Thank you so much, my dears, and wishing you a pleasant start to your new year. Take care. And let's move on to pile number 3. Okay, let's do it. All right, let's begin. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the heart eyes. Thank you so much for being here today. And today's reading is called Reset, Refresh, and Redirect. Mercury moves into Sagittarius, okay? And we are going to go ahead and get into it. I talked about at the beginning how Jupiter also went direct and is sextiling Saturn, which is very nice right now. But this Mercury direct is also squaring Neptune. It's in a conjunction with Mars. So things are still a little confusing, and perhaps you're needing some clarity on resetting and redirecting. There's the 2 of Cups. Ooh, the heart eyes, pile number 3. Who are you giving heart eyes to, my loves? Somebody giving you heart eyes in return? The giving and sharing of love and energy. Them old heart eyes. Let's go ahead. It's better than snake eyes, right? Pile number 3. Let's go ahead and see what is the reset, refresh, and deliver. Okay, and deliver for pile number 3. Reset, refresh. Woo! Things are flying. Things are changing. Reset, refresh, and redirect. Reset, refresh. What does pile number 3 need to know? Gotcha. Gotcha, pile number 3. Like grabbing a tiger by the tail. Let's go. We've got death on the bottom of the deck. Wow. Talk about the ultimate reset, the ultimate release, the ultimate F you, I'm done, I'm out, okay? And I love this death card because there's the Phoenix here. And you guys know, yep, it's time for a change. It's time for growth. It's time for movement. It's time for a reset. This is a huge reset for you guys. Let's go ahead and see. Big changes in 2024 for you guys. We have wind chimes, peace and harmony. 4-leaf clover, great good fortune, better things coming your way. We have suffering, damn, pile number 3. Thinking that no one knows the pain you're enduring is, okay, these cards are really, I'm going to warn you, pile number 3. These cards are no joke. This is the Shadow Oracle. So it really is going to give it to us straight. Thinking that no one knows the pain you're enduring is just another form of self-pity. Every soul experiences pain. It's what we do with that pain that defines our future, okay? You've certainly, and maybe you guys know that, you know, death is a very tough, it's tough, it's scorpionic. It's like, yeah, everybody goes through pain, everybody goes through struggle, everybody goes through changes, everyone suffers, and you've certainly seen your share of suffering in life, pile number 3. I know you have. But at the same time, like there's been some changes that I feel like have been bugging you, or it's like Spirit has been bugging you to make certain changes in your life. And I know you need to make them, and I know you know, and we know you know, and all of that. And perhaps some of these changes will help allow more peace and harmony into your life, and allow, you know, more money, good fortune, good luck, good things happening to you. And I feel like Spirit's been nudging you and bugging you for a while and saying, we need you to make these changes, or we need you to, like, these are things that we need you to embrace now. And some of it has to do with confidence. I feel we have this confidence card right here, and believing in the power of you, being yourself in the world, being confident about who you are, okay? And then we have the transformation card. It is safe to let go I know nothing is ever taken away unless something better is coming. And yeah, Spirit is nudging you right now, pile number 3. Let go. There's a change you've been wanting to make for a long time, pile number 3. It's a long time coming. It could be several changes that you've been wanting to make for a long time. And I feel like Spirit is nudging your arm like this and saying, it's time. It's time, okay? We have here Mercury, messages, travel, and communication. All right. Travel and communication, messages. Well, it's interesting because Mercury is direct, and Mercury is, as of today, as of January 1st, 2024, Mercury is direct. And, it's funny because Mercury is also square Neptune, and you can see there's a message in a bottle, but it's in the water or in the ocean. Okay, so maybe some messages about traveling, where you're headed, some communication about that, about where you're living, where you're going, travel in the future, where you're leaning towards. And yeah, let's see what kinds of very interesting Mercury retrograde for you guys. I feel pile number 3. We have, okay, trapped. You feel stuck in your current situation, but you do have options. Look for another job while keeping the one you have for now. Okay, and we see the spider here weaving together. And you guys, here's the thing. I think this is coming out under the wind chimes and peace and harmony. Like, I feel like it's not like your job is like horrible or awful. It's not like it's the worst thing ever or that you're being crazily oppressed. I feel like you just don't like it anymore, or there's something about it that you don't want to do anymore, or it's not like it's the worst thing ever. Change can be scary. Like, sometimes we hold on to things because it's like, well, I don't know what's going to happen or how this is going to be if I let this go. And it's funny, I'm kind of thinking about my boyfriend right now, pile number 3, who's been having the same job for the last 6-7 years, and he's making a big change, and he's excited about it, but he's also nervous about it. And so again, I feel like with his job, it's not the worst job. It's not like he hates it. It's just he knows it's time for him to move on. And perhaps this is something that you guys know as well too. And perhaps you guys are looking for more money, great good fortune, good luck, and you're making some of these changes and you need to do it. Honest work. It's so funny because there's a beer and someone's pouring a beer. So maybe perhaps somebody works in the hospitality industry, the travel industry, is a bartender. You also see another bottle with water in it here. Also, I feel like somebody needs to give up drinking, and that definitely isn't my boyfriend because he doesn't drink. He's like straight edge, but just FYI, guys, in case you were wondering. But maybe for some of you, it is time because we see the water in the bottle and then we see the beer bottle. So maybe for some of you, it is time to stop drinking. Even if you don't drink a lot, you just drink sometimes, but it's not a good thing for you to do. Perhaps it is time to give that up. Perhaps some of you are not drinking enough water, or you're drinking things that are not good for you. It's not alcohol, but it's something else. And there is something here about, Spirit kind of like touching your arm and saying, it's time. It's time to drink more water. It's time to, tell someone that you're leaving. You can still continue to work at the job that you're at, but eventually you will tell somebody like, I'm leaving or I'm going. And we have honest work here. Yes, 4-leaf clover, great good fortune and honest work. Perhaps some of you are like bartenders, or you work in the service industry or the food industry, but it says it's okay to have a job that's not very glamorous. Get some experience to help you move up in the future. Success is a process, not a quick fix. And that's the thing, the death card has to do with long-standing changes and the process of change. And it's not like it's going to happen overnight. It's a thing that really like takes time. And here, you know, in pile number 2, it was a completely different energy. It was like mutable sign territory and flexibility and changes happening all the time. In this pile, I feel like you guys are more methodical perhaps than pile number 3 or pile number 2. You guys are more methodical. And so when you're making changes, it may take you a little bit more time, or you may be a little bit more conservative about making those changes, or you're trying to break into something new, but you're a little bit scared of it, or you know, you have to intern, or you have to take a job at the beginning levels. Like Spirit is just saying there's nothing wrong, and particularly if you're feeling trapped in your job right now and you feel like it's kind of menial or something like that, it's okay to have a job that's not very glamorous. Get some experience to help you move up in the future. Success is a process, not a quick fix, okay? And so there is something here for you guys about, you know, and I do feel you're going to be very happy with the changes, wind chimes, peace and harmony, great good fortune, like, you know, good changes, good things coming your way. And, you know, I know you guys aren't above, like, for me, pile number 3, I'm honest work. It's so funny. I was talking to my boyfriend about this when we were on a walk yesterday, and I said, I don't actually care what somebody does for a living as long as it's legal. You know what I mean? As long as it's legal. And, you know, so like that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. And maybe you guys are kind of in the same place and you're wanting to move up, or you're wanting to have more money, or you're wanting to have some better experiences. And perhaps some of you would like to work in the travel industry or the communications industry, or you have a degree in communications. I know that there are degrees in that. Perhaps you guys are interested in advertising or art, or, you know, advertising through art, like that type of stuff, but you're needing to take steps along the way. And let's see what else we have here. We have Blue Jay and intuition. Okay, yes, Spirit's right next to you right now, tapping you and telling you it's time. And this is kind of the year, I feel like, for you guys. Like changes have been in process for a while, I feel, for you guys. But this is kind of the year when they're gonna happen, is what I feel. Okay, and it says Blue Jay and intuition. You are encouraged to follow your feelings and your intuition. Yeah, and perhaps some of you do have, you know, Mercury in Pisces, Mercury in Cancer, Mercury in Scorpio. Like this could be a water Mercury, particularly my Mercury in Pisces people. You are encouraged to follow your feelings and intuition. This is a reminder that your personal power is in your hands. Yes, Scorpio, Death card. Your personal power is in your hands, and that you are free to take flight. Yep, at any time, if you find yourself in a situation that doesn't suit you anymore, okay? And using your intuition to kind of guide you, and that your personal power is in your hands and you're free to take flight if you're in a situation that doesn't suit you anymore. And some of you are in situations that don't suit you anymore, and maybe you've been in them for a while, like a couple years, or you know what I mean? Relationships. Maybe you're in a relationship that doesn't suit you anymore, and it's been a couple of years or a year or whatever. But, you know, sometimes the biggest changes are happening on, like, you know, a molecular, cellular level, and they just take time. They just, you know, growth can take time, and, you know, we just don't want to hold ourselves back, right? And for those of you that are feeling trapped, and it's like, your intuition is telling you, it's time, okay? And maybe you were kind of, there was confidence stuff, or you didn't feel like you had the skills. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with starting and working your way up on something. It's a very noble thing to do, actually. And yeah, Spirit is saying, like, your personal power is in your hands. Look at the Phoenix with the figure on the Death card here. Take a look at this, okay? And the Knight of Wands is under the Death card. So it's like courage, bravery, strength, honor, okay? And let's see what else we have here. Maybe you've been a little bit afraid. There's something For those of you that are like artists, or you're changing in certain ways as artists, or what you want to do with your life is changing in ways, like I do see this happening, okay? And I am getting the letter M here as well. Like something, I feel Spirit is like tapping you and saying, it's time. It's time for change right now, okay? And we have Chiron, Pluto. Interesting, powerful energy, okay? And the thing is that I feel like you guys have suffered in your life. You have been through a lot of pain, and change is painful. But I also feel like you guys are those type of people that when you're given a challenge in life, or you're given like challenges or big changes coming down the way, it's like your soul does really rise to the occasion. And if you look back at your life and you think about some of the things that you've done and how you've like pulled yourself out of some very painful situations and how you've really overcome, you know, I shall overcome. I feel that is very much you guys. Like perhaps some of you didn't start with a lot of money, or you came from very challenging neighborhoods or environments and where there was a lot of suffering, and there was a lot of people who kind of fell into self-pity in their suffering and didn't really find a way to transform that pain and suffering into something else. And I feel like that is what you guys are doing, as you're taking some of these like painful experiences and you're not staying stuck in the feeling, but you're actually, and some of you here could be beautiful writers as well, poets, writers, etc. With this water Mercury, deep thoughts, deep words that you have to share with people. Maybe talking about things, messages of suffering, things that you've went through, stories of overcoming deep hardship, you know, betting on the underdog and coming out of it. And, you know, personal power is something that tedious effort and personal power is something that I feel you've been learning in this lifetime, and it's not easy. Pile number 3, it's not easy. And the thing is the changes that you go through are not the change that everybody sees and goes, wow, you know, like immediate. It's more of a process for you, a process of evolution that's happening on an internal level that you yourself can be very proud of, but maybe not everyone is noticing everything, you know, but it's something where you have to notice yourself, and you should recognize within yourself, like, wow, you know, maybe it's not evident, maybe, because I mean, people have a tendency to notice like the awards or the big, huge, like Oscar sitting on someone's, you know, like, or Emmy award, or I'm just giving examples of awards, or, you know, people notice things like that, or Olympic, you know, gymnast wins gold medal or something like that. Like people, whoa, wow. But people oftentimes don't see like the blood, sweat, and tears and what it took to get someone there. Like if you look at somebody who was given everything in life and they rose to the top, like that's not that impressive, right? But if you look at somebody who didn't start out with a lot and didn't have much and yet still overcame like tremendous challenges, this is truly impressive, and this is truly change that is not just happening outwardly, like, oh, I run an award or I got a promotion or whatever, but it's internal, like commitment to your own self over years and years and years of doing that. And that is something that I feel you guys really, it's almost like you want to show yourself that you can do it, or you can prove to yourself that you can do it. And you've already done it many times in other areas of your life. And this is just one more thing or one more transition. And I would encourage you, pile number 3, to build off the confidences that you've already gained in life, because I feel some of you have already evolved so far. And like I said, it may not be the tangible things like I've got $5 million or whatever. It might not be that, but it's like, look, I took myself from zero to nothing, and I made it this far and I did these wonderful things that took a long time and I'm really damn proud of them. And I feel like, you know, you guys have every right to stand in that power because you've earned it. You have every right to stand up and be like, you know, this is me and this is what I did, and to be very proud of where you've come in your life. Even if you feel like you've had to take steps back, or things have been slower than maybe other people you see around you, it doesn't matter. Like, the place that you've come from isn't easy, and here you are, and yet here you are. And I love that, pile number 3. I love a story about an underdog who digs deep and takes what they've been given in life and like becomes something like super brilliant and unique, and somebody who has the commitment to really pull things off. Like, I love that, and I can respect that, pile number 3. I can really, really respect that. And I hope you feel a lot of respect for yourself, and I hope you're given the respect that you deserve, is what I also feel. Okay, so pile number 3, this is very nice. And you know, resets are different for you guys. They may not be like some crazy crashing down experience or some crazy whatever, but they are a deep internal process. And there is something big happening for you this year, though. I do feel, pile number 3, there is something like, this is a year for you guys when something really lands, okay? And we have the Sphinx. Wow, interesting. Cunning, clever, and manipulation. And, you know, this is something that you guys have probably dealt with in other people in a negative sense, with people who were very manipulative or cunning or clever, or trying to take what you earned from you. But I also feel this is also you guys, but in a positive way, in the sense of, you know, not everybody knowing what's going on with you, and not everybody knowing what's going on under the surface. There may be kind of a mystery about you in some ways, pile number 3. But I also feel like, you know, you guys look at things for the long haul. You're looking at the end game in the long run. It's not about, you know, like, it's not about the immediate win. It's about the long-term push. And in order to play that type of game in life, you have to be really like 3 steps ahead, and you have to be really smart. And I feel you guys are very smart. You are very clever, okay? And you know, there may be like you feel stuck in your current situation, but you do have options. Keep looking for another job while you have the one you have now. Or even in a relationship, you feel stuck in your current situation, but you do have options. Look for other options, other ways to get out of things while you're still there. And you know what? I feel like that's a survival technique. Like, learning to be cunning and clever is a survival technique. And it's something that Spirit is giving you a thumbs up about, right? Because some people are just so honest to a fault. Like, they'll go and tell their employer, like, yeah, I want to leave. I'm not happy here and I don't like it, because they feel they should be honest, but they don't have anything else lined up, or they're not ready. So just be, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be cunning in certain situations. And there's an old saying about being, you know, peaceful and loving like a dove, but also being cunning like a snake when you need to be in life. And you know, we're talking about your survival, your livelihood, things like that. So, you know, whatever you want to do, you have personal power, and your personal power is in your own hands, and you don't need to tell everyone what you're doing. That's another thing, you know, is like, you know, being a little bit secretive with the Death card here, like Scorpionic energy, not telling everyone your business, being a little bit secretive. And for those of you that have like Mercury in Pisces or Mercury in Cancer, maybe that's a hard thing for you, because maybe you'd like to share everything. Or maybe you have like Mercury in Sagittarius, which Mercury has been direct in it's been retrograde in Sagittarius, which is more like a tell everyone everything type of a Mercury. But, Spirit's telling you guys, lay low, make your plans, don't tell everyone your plans, focus on, your personal power. You are free. If you want to leave a place or you want to change, sometimes, financial situations limit things and our options and what we can do. But there always is that side where, you don't need to tell everyone everything. You don't need to tell everyone your plans. And you certainly can keep certain things to yourself. Especially if your intuition is telling you, hey, don't tell this person everything. Like this person is a gossip, or they always are sharing shit all the time, and wind chimes, things have a way of getting around, or rumors getting around and things like that. Just keep it to yourself, pile number 3. Keep it to yourself. You've got your plans. You got your things that you're working on. Not everybody needs to know it. It's you. It's you doing you, okay? We have here, small is beautiful. Oh, I love that. Small is beautiful. And look at the butterfly right in the middle of there, and then the butterfly on the death card, and there's a butterfly here. Small is beautiful. Like butterflies are very small, but they're very beautiful. Find the extraordinary in the ordinary. Keep it simple. Use discretion. Yeah, use discretion. What I've been talking about the whole time, like keep everything, keep it simple right now as you're making these big changes. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't overstimulate yourself. Don't overcomplicate things, okay? Keep it simple and use discretion. Tend to the details. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to what's being said. Pay attention to opportunities that come up. Slow down, tend to the details, and pay attention. Okay? And it's really, we're moving into this new year with Moon in Virgo. And, there is something about slowing down and paying attention to the messages and, not like Mercury and Sagittarius square Neptune and Pisces could be like just verbal diarrhea, or saying way too much, or, you tell someone to something and all of a sudden now everyone knows. This is something we want to avoid, keeping things to ourselves, using discretion with who we talk to about whatever plans are coming, and keeping things to yourself for a while. And sometimes there's those victories in life that not everybody can see or know about, but pile number 3, okay? And that is personal power. Let's go ahead, and maybe there's at times with this Chiron Pluto that you felt weak, or you felt like you were coming from a place of weakness, or you felt like other people saw you as weak or small in some way, pile number 3, but no, that's not it. That's not who you are. You're actually just not all over the fucking place like everyone else is. You're just taking everything in day by day. And when you're ready to communicate, you will do it. But just pay attention to the messages that you're getting around you in your environment and take them in, because you're very intuitive. Some of you, like I said, Mercury in Scorpio, Mercury in Cancer, Mercury Pisces, very intuitive. Or maybe you have Mercury Neptune in your chart, or Moon Neptune or something like that, but you're intuitive. Don't get it twisted. Pile number 3. You pick up on the subtleties in your environment, and it is a survival mechanism that you have, but you also know it's wise not to blab your business to everyone. And that's what we need to do here. We have the Fool, talk about a reset for sure. We have the Knight of Cups, intuitive, knowledgeable, in sync with the moment. Judgment. Okay, now I like this. Let's raise a glass to pile number 3. And maybe it has water in it at this point, but I mean, I like this. I really, really do. We have here the Sun. Yes, you guys will have your day in the Sun. And look, the Sun card has this beautiful butterfly on it. And the thing is big changes are coming your way this year. There is a very good reset that, Like the universe is giving you guys a chance to do something different this year. And I think you're going to take it and make it your own. And you're going to lead yourself through these changes very successfully. Okay. And I would say just don't let other people influence you too much at this time. Okay. Because there may be a side of you guys. Yes, you're very intuitive. Yes, you get things. Yes, you have a way of picking up on things. But at times, maybe people try to influence you with certain things they tell you, or they influence your mood, or they whatever. I feel like this year, no, rely on your own judgment, rely on what you know and intuitively what you feel to be true, and follow that through to the letter. And what this year is asking you for pile number 3 is asking you to trust yourself. The good news is that you're in a really powerful position to trust yourself this year. And there is going to be some exciting changes that really like make you feel whole and make you feel inspired. And for those of you that are creative people, wow, get ready for some wild, new, brilliant ideas. For those of you that, the Fool, for those of you that work in technology or you're looking for something in that space, look for something creative to pop through with that. Look for your creativity to be elevated. And, you know, this Judgment card very much resonates with the energy of personal power that we were talking about. And the Judgment in the tarot is associated with Pluto. And we do have Chiron Pluto here. We also have Scorpionic energy. We've got the Sphinx, okay? And you guys really reading the situation right and taking the action that needs to be done in order to create a future path for yourself that you can be really proud of. And the Sun is about stepping out and getting recognition or taking a reward for something. Now, the things that you do on your own, like that you've kept to yourself, I feel like the end result is you are actually getting your day in the spotlight, or your work is becoming highlighted, or you're actually getting recognition. And maybe that's something that, you know, you haven't always gotten from other people, is that certain level of recognition or vote of confidence from others. And I do feel like for those of you that are artists that are wanting recognition for your work, yes, yes, yes. Okay. The only thing that I would let you know is I would say don't hold back. Okay. When it comes to trying new things, doing new things, stepping out of your comfort zone with the Fool, do not hold back. Okay. And don't let other people like influence you too much, but also don't hold back from your own instincts. Okay. Because I feel like your instincts are very powerful, and you're just expecting something to be maybe like a smaller change, but with this, the small is beautiful. Like something starts off as a very small change, but it ends up like opening up a whole new world to you guys, is what I feel. And you're in command and you're in control of it, and it feels good. So pile number 3, this is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that this reading resonated for you, and I wish you a very beautiful start to your 2024 and beyond. Take care, my friends.